Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the stream here. This is Site J7 JJ here playing, coming back with more board game arena action here. Today we're going to be playing Race for the Galaxy on Board Game Arena. If you haven't played it, it is a really fun, quick card game that has to do a lot of symbol matching in order for you to get bonuses and stuff. And essentially, you're trying to build up your tableau up to 12 cards to try to beat out your opponent and gain victory points by building all these different cards or sending off goods to get more victory points and stuff here. So this one here is done by Rio Grande Games. Really fun game. They've done another iteration of this game called Roll for the Galaxy, which is a dice game, which I will play on stream one day soon and show you guys here. But let's just go over the rules here. Essentially, every turn you're going to choose a particular role. That role will be played out in turn order. Every role has a particular timing. So you have the explore phase, you have a development phase, you have a settle phase, then you have a consume phase, which you can consume goods for either victory points or cards, and then lastly a produce phase, which helps you produce cards on top of planets that you have already colonized in your tableau. And essentially, you build up your table here, and the more cards you have, the more things you can do. If your other opponent shows a different role besides yourself, you also get to perform that particular role as well, except that the person who chose the role gets a bonus depending on what they chose on there. And you just keep on going until either one of the players either reaches 12 cards or more on their tableau, or all the victory points are gone from the victory pile. Just a quick review here of the rules reference here, and kind of goes through each phase there. But as I'm sure most people do, you learn as you go, and I'll be happy to walk you through as we play through this game here. So we're going to set this up here. I'm going to play here, Race for the Galaxy. So I'm going to set up a table. I'm going to do a two-player game. I think that's probably my favorite version of playing this game. And there are quite a few expansions for this game out. However, I'm just going to do the base expansion with the new worlds, just to um, reduce the complexity of the introduction to the game. In future streams, I'll probably incorporate more expansions as we go along. But for to the time being, I just want to do a base game here. So, getting myself in queue, and look at that right away. All right, so we're going to jump in here. So I'm going to have a starting hand of 6 cards here, and these are my 2 starting planet options that I want to here. Now, as I said before, there's a lot of symbol matching here, so the more things you get in a row matching here, like for these 2 starting planets, this one gives me a discount on brown worlds for settling. This one here gives me +1 military, which helps me conquer the planets that have that little red outline around the edge of the planet, and go from there. Just looking at my starting hand, I do have more military power that I can develop, which will help me develop settle military worlds faster. So I'm gonna get rid of the brown cards to start, and I do have to get rid of 2 cards from my hand. So I'm gonna get rid of that card and this card, mainly because they don't really gel well with what I want to start off with. So I don't have any plans to conquer, but I definitely want to increase my military might. So I'm going to choose develop as one of my actions, or one of my roles that I'm going to play. And then I also want to get more cards in my hand, so I'm going to choose the explore. So right off the bat here, I do get a military world. So I'm going to make sure I grab this one here, and I'll grab an extra one, which will be fodder, and I'll choose to be done. So those 2 planets get added onto my hand here. So I want to make sure that I'm going to be able to conquer this year, and I only have 1 military might in my tableau. So I'm going to make sure I'm going to have an additional 2, which will give me 3 to conquer this planet next turn. So I'm going to choose this card, and then I'm going to discard 1 card to pay for this. Normally I would have to discard 2, but because I chose to develop, I get a discount of 1 card for me to pay for that card. So now it's my turn again. We both have to choose roles. I'm going to choose to settle. And because this is a windfall planet, it's going to immediately produce a resource for me to sell. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure I consume here. So I'm going to get settle this for free because I have 3 military might. And now it's the consume phase, so I can sell this card for additional cards. And there we go. So I got a bonus for this one and this starting planet here as well. So that was a huge, huge boon for me. And now I have to discard down to 10 cards total. So I'm going to get rid of this one card here. Now I have an important decision to make because I have a bunch of blue cards here that I can really go to with the one that I have already, or I can go into the military might still and go from there. I think I'm going to stick with the military just to make sure I keep up with that. So I'm going to choose to develop this one here to give me 4 military and then a one for that'll give me 4 to conquer this red alien planet here. So I'm going to choose settle as that. So my opponent chose to explore, so I do get a chance to keep one card out of these two that come up. I'm going to choose this planet here because if I have the chance, I'm going to settle that to get more military might. Now's my opportunity to develop. So I'm going to develop that card there. And now I get to, I have 4 military might. And so I'm going to pick up this alien planet to settle. And that's the end of the round. So now we start off a new round here. I'm doing pretty good so far. I have more cards than my opponent. My opponent chose to settle this alien world, which makes me think he probably has the alien development card, which is going to give him a lot of victory points for each yellow planet he has. So I'm just going to speed along here. I'm going to choose to settle twice since I have a lot of cards. All right, so the first one here is going to be this brown planet that I chose earlier because it has the military might that I need. And then I'm going to settle this 2 cost planet because it's giving me more military might, and I'm paying 2 cards for it. All right, and then since my opponent chose to consume, that means that I am forced to consume this yellow card that I have here, which I'll consume for 1 victory point and 1 card in my hand, which is A-OK. So next up here, I am considering this merchant guild here for the sole reason that I have one planet here which will give me some victory points, and it automatically gives me 2 cards in my hand, lets me draw 2 cards whenever we produce. So I'm going to choose that, and I'm also going to choose to explore to get some more cards in my hand, which is perfect because I'm going to be able to draw this, and I'll choose the yellow card as well just to keep it out of my opponent's hand. So I'm going to build this merchant guild. I'm going to pay 5. I get it normally costs 6, but again, because I chose the development role, I get a discount of 1. So I'm going to choose 5 cards from my hand to pay off, and I'm going to get rid of the alien because I don't need it. And now my opponent chose to settle, and because I have enough, I can choose to settle this card world here. I chose not to do the green because I don't want to sell it for the 1 card. I'd rather settle it and then trade afterwards. So, and they'll come up to they'll be in play here next turn here. So I only have this 1 card here. I'm going to choose to settle, and now I'm going to choose to trade because I know this windfall planet will produce for me immediately. My opponent chose to develop. I have no cards to develop this turn, so I'm going to choose not to. And my opponent ended up putting up another dropship, so it gives him +3 military. So he must have a big yellow card that he's going to play soon. So there we go. So I ended up getting this here. I'm going to sell this green card, which fills up my hand again. And my opponent is, there we go, just consumes some stuff there. My opponent's leading the points right now. He has 22 points. This is a combination of 15 points for what the victory points he's getting from his planets, plus an additional 7 points for victory chips from stuff he's consumed. Whereas I only have 13 points for my planets and then 1 from what I've consumed so far. So I do got to catch up a little bit, but that's okay. I'm not too worried about it. So I chose to settle twice, mainly because I have 2 regular planets that um, I can settle, and that's going to go towards my bonus for the Merchant Guild. So the first one I'm going to choose is this green world here. I'm going to pay 3 for this, and then now this is my final. This will be the final turn because I'm about to play my 12th card, And I'm going to play this blue card here to fill it out here because it's going to count towards my objective here. My opponent choosing to go. And that's the end of the game there. My opponent was able to get one more victory point more than me for this particular game because he ended up consuming and he ended up getting that tie there. And I was hunting for the development card, which would give me victory points based on the number of military power that I have, but I just didn't get it. I was not able to really take advantage of that. I probably should have went with more blue planets because I probably would have gotten more victory points for it. See, with the Merchant Guild, I was able to get 6 additional points with that. And then my opponent wasn't able to get anything else there. So he just won on straight up planets and consumption, winning that game there. But yeah, so that's it. That's Race for the Galaxy. I'm gonna do another game of this here just to try to show different styles for it here. So we're gonna start off here, and look at that. Immediately got another player here. All right. So my starting off here, I have a good consumption world, or I have something that can help me with military. I tend to stick to military more because it's a lot easier once you build it up. So I'll go with that for now. I do need at least three more military might to conquer this particular planet, but it'll be a while before I get to that point. All right, so my opponent chose to start off with his blue Earth Lost Colony world, which is good because if he has a lot of blue cards in his hand, that's going to really benefit him there. So I'm hoping to get some more military might, if not a place to settle, which I wasn't lucky enough to pull, but I was able to at least get this runaway robots, and I can grab this Pan Atlantic League, which I'm probably not going to develop, but yeah, I'm not going to develop that. That's fine. But I will be able to at least settle this planet here. And we are back to new round. So I'm going to go ahead and explore one more time. And I'm going to consume this resource here just to make sure I can get as many cards as possible. I got lucky enough to get a blue or one military world, which is exactly what I want. And I'm going to keep that over there as well. I'm going to settle this blue world. My opponent also choosing to settle. There we go. So he's already building up a bit of blue worlds here. Makes me think that he's going to eventually build the 6 cost development, which gives him bonuses for having the blue worlds there. So I got to keep that in mind. I'm already falling behind, but I'm going to keep on pressing on here. So I have this mining conglomerate here. I definitely want this out as soon as possible because I feel like my opponent's going to keep on producing and selling. So I want to be able to keep up the pace with that as well. So I'm going to choose to develop that, and then I'm also going to settle as well. All right, so my opponent chose to explore. I'm going to keep this brown world here. So I'm going to develop this 3 cost world here, and I'm paying 1 less because I chose to develop. Now, this gives me a bonus if I'm the person who produces more rare earth or brown worlds resources, and I want to make sure that I have at least one that will produce. So I'm going to settle this rare world here to make sure that when the produce action comes up, which will be next, I get 2 extra cards in my hand for that. And there we go. Look at that. Beautiful. So I'm in a pretty good spot there. Now, my opponent has played the consumer markets, which allows him to consume up to 3 goods for a victory point each. And then whenever he produces, he draws a card as well. So he's going to be quite a bit of a force to start developing, and or rather to generate an engine for victory points. So I got to make sure I keep up with my opponent for that. I'm also going to choose to consume now because I know he's going to be doing that as well. And I'm going to choose to settle the 0 cost rare earth world here, just because I need to keep up with the amount of resources he's pulling out for this one. So my opponent also chose to consume as well. and then he's going to produce, which is going to be great for me because I'm going to get extra um, victory points for that. So I'm going to choose to consume here for a card and consume over here for another card as well. And he's pulling ahead. He has one more good produce more than me right now. So he has more. Just depending on the amounts of victory points that get pulled out this next turn, we might end up ending the game, which is not great, but I'll still keep on pressing 4 points here. So I'm going to consume again, and let's see. Um, I'm probably going to develop here. Hopefully get some points. Now, this only works if I have three different types of goods, which I only have two. But if I manage getting a third one somewhere, then it'll work out for me. All right. So we're off to consume. And yeah, I think this might be the end of the round here. Yeah, we ran out of victory points there really, really quick, and my opponent ends up taking the game with just 3 victory points more than I. I wasn't able to get out another card that I really wanted in order to make up that difference, but that was a very, very close game there. So good game to my opponent. Thanks for playing, and let's go another round. Oh, and my opponent actually requested a rematch, so I will go ahead and take it. Sure. Oh, it looks like it closed up. That's okay. No worries. Okay, so I'm going to join this game here. It's already readily available. So I'm going to accept. Still the base game, so that's okay. All right, so so it's a little difficult here. I definitely like the starting world here. However, I do have the mining conglomerate and I have the discount here, so this will work really well with the rare earth worlds or the brown worlds. So I'm gonna end up taking that to start off here. So if I choose to develop, I'll be able to pay this off with 2 cards, and then I can sell this brown world for more cards. So that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to choose to consume and develop. All right, then just waiting for my opponent to choose. So they started off just like my last game. They have a blue resource world. So I'm guessing they probably have stuff to help them consume stuff really fast. All right, so we're starting for the development here. I'm just paying for 2 cards here, and I really like this particular development. It's a 6 cost, but it gives me a 2 discount on every other development that I develop, and I also get victory points for each other development that I have. So that's really good. My opponent chose to settle, which I will not because I don't have a card to settle. But I'm going to go ahead and sell there, and my opponent chooses to produce. All right, so we're up to the next one here. Now, it's a little tough here because I can potentially put out this development this turn. However, I will end up sacrificing all my cards in the process. So I think I'm going to hold off onto it. I'm going to choose to explore and develop so I can develop this card here. And it's going to help me produce on this windfall planet whenever my opponent chooses to produce. All right, so my opponent making the decision. Let's see what they choose. All right, so they chose to settle and produce, which is great. So I'm gonna end up taking this rare world here, and I'll grab another one just for fodder. I'm gonna choose this world or this development here to build, which is great because now this gives me a -2 discount for brown worlds, which means I'll get to settle this card for free, which is fantastic. And there we go. Because I was able to produce more browns than my opponent, I was able to get 2 cards added to my hand, which is exactly what I need for this development here. I'm going to choose to actually develop this turn for this particular development, and then I'm going to sell my resources and have pretty much a brand new hand. So I'm going to develop and consume. So there we go. I just need to pay 5 for these, which is great. It's exactly what I want to do. And now I'm going to sell a card, and I got a bunch of new cards here. And look, I got the development he is looking for, which is great, because I'm able to hold on to this without him being able to take advantage of this. And this essentially gives him 2 victory points for every novelty production world and 1 for every windfall one. And that is exactly what he was probably looking for there. So I'm going to hang on to this as much as I can. All right. So I'm going to settle for this world and then consume. All right. So I'm going to settle this for free. That's going to give me another brown world here, which is great. And then I'm going to consume these 2 for victory points here. And then I'll be able to produce on a world there. And that'll give me 2 more cards to use. So I don't have anything really great for this one. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to actually end up developing this particular card only for the reason that number one, it's going to give me points for here. I do have a blue world that I can also settle as well. So I'll end up just doing that as well if my opponent settles, which he does. So I'm going to pay just 3 cards for this one, which is a fantastic discount. And then I'm going to pay another 3 for this blue world. And now I'm going to sell my brown, and that'll give me more stuff here, which is absolutely great. And now I'm going to be able to produce on a brown, and that gives me more cards to choose from. Now I'm in a really good spot here because now I'm able to produce this consumer markets, which I just happen to get, and that's extra 2 victory points here for this particular card. So let's go ahead and develop that. And I'm gonna have enough to settle as well. I'm gonna go ahead and just consume again because I'm gonna need more cards. And ooh, I got the curveball. I have another 6 cost development here. I don't have anything to really go with it, so I'm just going to go with my original plan. I'm going to pay 2 for that one, and then I'm going to sell this brown world good, and then also consume it here. And ooh, man, this right here, this new economy one is going to be great. I'm going to be able um, to get a lot of victory points for that. Ooh, and I got another 6, so I got a lot of good stuff here that I can really go into. So I'm going to develop, and I'm going to consume. Cool. I got another 6 cost one that I can develop. I'm going to start with this one for sure because I need I want the ability whenever somebody consumes, which I have been using. So I'm going to pay 3 for this particular development. And now we're going to consume this turn. So I get to consume here, get to draw a card. I'm going to consume here. And this is playing out very, very well for me so far. So I get to produce on a windfall again, end up discarding some cards, which is okay. And now I think I'm going to go for the double development here, just to get more points here. Just kind of surprised my opponent is not settling. I think he's expecting me to do those actions. But I'm going to go all in for the development here at this point. So I am developing this galactic survey. I'm going to pay 3 for that one. And then I'm going to develop this new galactic order. And then I'll pay 3 for this one as well. And that gives me 12 cards in my tableau, which means that my tableau is full. I'm going to end up consuming this last turn here, and then the final points will be tallied up. And that should be a victory for me. I definitely am going to get a lot of bonus points here for these developments here. My opponent actually got the card I was looking for originally, the Mining League, but that's okay. Ended up getting that win. So just to look at the bonuses here, my opponent didn't get any bonus victory points for the Mining League because he didn't have any brown planets or rare earth planets. For me though, the Free Trade Association, I ended up getting 4 victory points. I got 13 points for the Galactic Federation, additional 5 points for the Galactic Survey Study, 9 points for the New Economy, and 2 for the New Galactic Order. And these are all of my 6 point developments that I ended up building, and they more than doubled my score at the end of the game. I got 25 points off of these essentially, which is crazy. So, and yeah, the final score ended up becoming 55 to 14 there for that one there. Good game. All right. So that is it for that particular game for tonight. I will end up going for more games of Roll for the Gal or Race for the Galaxy. It is a super fun game there. The next game I wanted to jump into is Seasons. This is another game that I love playing. This is a more in-depth card game. And let's just go into it really quickly so we can take a look to see how this game is played. This one here is a super fun game. Let's see here. Let me find the rule set so you can see. There we go. So we're just going to do the very base game just to kind of get acquainted with the rules on this one here. But yeah, this one here, done by Live It Loud. This is a fantastic game here. Essentially, the game is played over a span of 3 years. Every year, you're going to start off with a set of cards that you're going to put away to the side, and you'll end up building up your hand to play these cards into your tableau. And each of these cards have different abilities that will give you different types of victory points or affect your opponent or give you different energies in order for you to play different cards and such, all leading up to a final tally of victory points that are on each card, as well as crystals or victory points they gain in the game for either consuming particular elements during a particular time of the year or for card effects that you gain these victory points for. And it's played up to 4 players, and depending on the level of difficulty that you play, you'll either add or remove cards from the deck that are available, and then just play like that. The game ends at the end of the third season, or the third year rather. So if you look at this round circle here, this is essentially our year. You start off with the number 1 spot, and once it goes through the entire series like a clock, once it reaches the number 1 again, then that begins the second year and so on until the end of the third year, which is after this number 12 here, and that's when the game ends. And then whoever has the most victory points combined between cards and from the tokens, that determines who wins the game there. So we're going to go ahead and jump into the game. Let me just get this here. All right. There we go. Okay. So let's get this one started up here. So I'm gonna do probably the very basic again, just to get everybody acquainted with the game first before we go into it. Oop, let me cancel that because I'm not ready. So I'm going to do Apprentice Wizard. This the main difference with Apprentice Wizard and the other ones here. Obviously, it doesn't have any of the expansions on here, but Apprentice Wizard already gives you a set of 9 cards already randomly given out to you and your opponent, and then you just put them in the years that you want to. Magician takes it another level. You have two sets of 9 cards, or rather, a set of 9 cards per player, rather, where you draft cards in turn order between you and your opponent, and then you set them up. Archmage level includes all the cards from the base game, and a similar thing, you do a draft, and then there are other cards that are added on with each expansion, which we'll play in a later time. But for the time being, we're just going to go with a very, very basic Our Princess Wizard, just so we can go right into the meat of the game. So hopefully I won't have to wait too long for this. Typically, these seats fill up really fast. This is a very popular game, so hopefully it should fill up pretty quick. And there we go. And let's jump into it. All right, so this is my starting hand here. These are all the different cards that are going to be available to me to use for the game here. So I'm going to assign 3 cards per year. So starting with my starting hand, I always want to start off with something that's going to improve my efficiency for either storing or gaining elements or tokens in order for me to play cards. So I usually want to start off with my Bispell Grimoire. This increases my capacity. Um, I'm going to go with the Wondrous Chest because if I hold on to 4 more energy tokens, I'll end up gaining crystals or victory points. And then I'm kind of torn between the Hourglass of Time and the Potion of Knowledge. And I think that I should probably put my Grimoire on second, and I'll add these to my first, mainly because this allows me to gain a free energy every time the season changes. So that kind of feeds into this. So I'll go into that. Next up, Vigrum the Avaricious, I'll add into my second year because that's when I'll be able to really start gaining or stealing victory points from my opponent. And then I'll add in Amulet of Fire to give me more cards to play with. And then in my final year, I'll put everything else on there and hope that I can pull some good cards in the meantime. So we start off with year 1 here. So my opponent's going to have the first choice. These are the 3 results that come up here, and I'm going to choose this particular dice because it gives me +1 summoning, which allows me to play a card in my first slot here. I don't have anything to play since I only have 1 energy here, so I'm going to end up just passing my turn, and now I become the first player. And now I have the option to choose between these 3 dice here. I'm going to choose the double water, and that's going to allow me to play my Potion of Knowledge. So I'll play my Potion of Knowledge, sacrificing the 2 water elements. I'm going to immediately sacrifice this because it's going to give me 5 energy tokens to play with. So I'm going to essentially get the energy I need to play my cards. And then I'm going to play my Hourglass of Time and my Wondrous Chest. And now I've officially played out all my cards and sacrificed all of my energy on that 1 turn there. So taking a look at my opponent's deck, they have a summon of 2 right now, just like I do. They have 2 air tokens and 1 flame token. Don't think there's anything that they could really play at the moment, so they'll likely just pass. And at the end of this turn, we're going to move 2 pips because that's what's the remaining dice on here. So we'll move on from this 3 spot up to the 5 spot, and we'll officially be in the next season here, the green season. All right, so since the season changed, I do get to choose a energy token to keep. So I'll go ahead and grab a fire token. My opponent is likely going to choose this double dice. Oh, chose not to. He's probably trying to summon something that's okay. I'm going to always go for the summoning because the more I have, the more cards I can play later on in the game. You have a maximum of 15 slots. So I'll always want to keep that in mind. So I'm going to end my turn. We ended up going to another season. So now I'm going to choose a air element. And I will choose another summoning. So I'm getting pretty close to my limit here. So hopefully one of these dice that come up will be an extra card that I can draw and play. If not, I'll start transmuting whenever I can for victory points. So my opponent takes the double fire 3 victory points, which is great. I have nothing to play, so I'm going to end my turn. My opponent likely going to play something They played this Forgotten Vase here, which allows them to get a energy token every time they play a card, which is really great economy for them. So the more cards they end up playing, the more energy they end up getting. So that's really good for them. Ooh, Naria the Prophetess. So every time, whenever they play this card, they get to draw two cards. They give one card to me and one card to themselves. And now I have an extra card I can play, which is even great because when I play this card, it's going to give me two extra summoning spots, and I get to draw a card. So that's really great. And I'm full up right now in energy, so that's perfect for me. All right, so my opponent plays the Staff of Spring. It gives them 3 victory tokens every time they play a card. So that's going to be really good for them. I'm playing my Potion of Power, and I'm immediately going to use it. So look at that. My summoning gauge has went up all the way up to 7 spots. So that's really good for me here. I have Lewis Greyface, which I can play later on whenever I want to copy my opponent's energy tokens that they have. There's nothing that they want that they have that I want, so I'm just going to end my turn here. And I'm going to choose to grab a water element here. There we go. So I got the draw a power card here. So that's going to be good for me. I'm going to be able to play another card from my hand. All right, so I'm going to draw my power card, and I'm going to get an Amulet of Water. I'm going to decide to keep this card, and I'm going to play it, and I'm going to keep one of every energy token type in here, and essentially I can use these at any time whenever I'm playing a card, and that will help me pay for other cards. So, all right, so my opponent here didn't get another summoning add-on here, so they're not able to play another card. They could transmute, which is exactly what they did, and that is the end of the round. I'm going to grab a green token here because I have the Grimoire here that I want to play for sure next turn. All right, so it's my opponent's turn. They're likely going to increase their summoning circle there, which is great. Um, I will choose to actually grab 6 victory points here instead of the energy tokens, mainly because if my opponent doesn't play too many cards, I can copy the extra stuff that they have. So we'll see. So my opponent has a space. They chose not to play anything, probably because they don't have anything to play with the energy tokens that they have. They instead chose to transmute 2 fire tokens. They gave them 4 victory crystals because in this season the flame is worth 2 victory tokens in this season, so they got a total of 4 for transmuting those there. I'm gonna play my Bispel Grimoire. When I play it, it increases my total capacity to 10, and I get two energy tokens of my choice. I chose double fire. I'm going to play this Amulet of Fire. Ooh, tough choices. So these two cards are the same. They allow me to get 3 crystals for every magic item that I have on my tableau. And I have the Hand of Fortune, which gives me a discount for every card that I play. Absolutely going to grab the discount. Um, so I'm going to play Lewis Greyface this turn so I can copy my opponent's hand. I'm also going to play Figrim the Avaricious this turn. And I'm going to leave my Hand of Fortune here, mainly because I want to maintain my energy level here. Even though I had these suspend, but I want to make sure I always have 4 energy tokens in the reserve, just so I can always gain the constant bonus from the Wondrous Chest. All right, so my opponent likely just going to choose this 6 victory point die here just to get more stuff. Unfortunate for my opponent because they're probably looking for energy for sure. Or summoning. All right. So my I'm going to summon my Hand of Fortune here. I am going to use one of my resources from my Amulet of Fire to summon this card. And the reason I'm doing that is that I will still end up with four resources here, and that will still give me the four that I need to constantly get my Wondrous Chest buff. So now that I have that there, I have a total of 8 cards played so far. I have 7 left. I got to keep in mind that I have 3 more cards coming on the following year. So I got to make sure I have enough space for those cards before the game ends. Any cards that are left over in your hand at the end of the game count as -5 points for each card. So I got to keep that in mind as we approach the final year. But we're still in the beginning of year 2, still in a pretty great spot. So just looking to see what I can do here. My opponent just having bad luck with their dice. I feel bad for them because they're kind of stuck on not being able to play more cards. And once you're year 2, if you're stalling with cards, being able to play them out, that kind of really hampers what you can do. So, all right. So my opponent does have the option to get more summoning space, which is something that they do sorely need. And they also do have access to um, a water element energy. So let's see. I'm definitely going to go for the card, the power card, if my opponent leaves it. If not, I'll take the summoning power. And oh, okay. So my opponent chose to go for more resources. That's okay. Um, Tough choice here, but I'm gonna go for the power card, mainly because I have the option to retain it or discard it if I don't like it. So let's see if my opponent plays anything. My opponent chose not to play anything. They ended up just transmuting one of their fire tokens for 3 crystals, which is okay. And yes, an Omelet Air, I'm absolutely going to keep that. That's going to increase my summoning power by 2 when I play it, so I'm going to keep it, and I'll end my turn. I wasn't able to play it this turn mainly because I don't have the summoning power for it, but with this turn here, I'm going to end up getting it. All right, so let's see what my opponent chooses. My opponent needs to get moving. They definitely need more summoning power to play more cards. So they got 4 cards in their hand currently, and I'm sure they should be able to play them. My only other guess is if they have any like temporal boots to help speed the game up. That is a possibility, but we'll see. All right. So I'm going to play my Amulet Air. I only pay 1 red because of my Hand of Fortune, which is fantastic. So now I got 2 additional summoning power there. I'm going to choose to transmute one of these air tokens for 3 tokens. Actually, I'll do 2 of them. Because in this season, the air tokens are worth 3 victory points apiece. So I might as well take advantage of that. They'll still leave me with 4 energy tokens here, which is still going to give a bonus for my Wondrous Chest. And I'll end my turn here. My opponent's full up with all their resources here. Oh, there we go. They played a second Staff of Spring here. So that means that every card that they play going forward is going to give them 6 victory points additional, which is fantastic. That's a really good buff for them, for sure. So Hourglass of Time is going to give me another energy token. I'm actually going to go for green because that becomes more rare as we go along, and I can easily get air tokens for this season here. They're more common. If you're ever wondering what's going to be common in each season, basically these top 2 here are the most common symbols on these red dice, with blue not being available and green a little harder to get. And each of those results changes as the season goes, so I can kind of plan around what I want. All right, so we're coming around again. I'm gonna choose the fire with the transmutation here. Just looking here, whenever a die has this little square around it that allows you to transmute or change your energy tokens to victory points. In this case, because I have two water tokens, I can transmute them both for 3 apiece, which will give me 6 points. And I'll end my turn here. Now, this is the point of the game where I'm trying to make sure I like get full value out of my tokens because I want to make sure that I get enough victory tokens for the end of the game. All right, Hourglass of Time. We're in the final season here, the final year of seasons rather, and now we're going for the final turns here. So my opponent was able to play this Divine Chalice, which lets them play a card for free immediately. So now they have 2 Forgotten Vases and 2 Staff Springs. So they got 6 victory points for playing this Divine Chalice. With the 2 vases, this one card now gives them 2 energy tokens on top of the 6 victory points on that they have. And they also played Karam the Destroyer, which they can discard an energy token to force me to lose 4 victory points every time that they use it. So that is a nice combo for them because they're always going to have resources to use. So that's okay though. So now I am at max and summoning power. So I'm at 15 and I'm going to end up playing my last 2 cards here. And I have 3 left over here. So uh, I'll pass there, and I'm going to start going for victory points here as much as possible. If I have the chance to transmute something, I will. But for the most part, I'm trying to get as many victory points as possible. I ended up using this die of malice, which helps me reroll the die that I chose, and it'll give me 2 crystals immediately or victory points, and I just end up with whatever. Ended up giving me two waters and a summoning power, which I don't need. So I'll just end up passing. Let's see what my opponent takes. Takes nothing. Okay. All right. So my opponent gets first choice here. All right. So my opponent really going after my victory points here. I'm going to choose not to reroll this turn mainly because I have a lot of fire tokens that I want to transmute here. So I have a total of 5 of them. And that's going to give me 15 victory points there to transmute. And with that, I'll end my turn. Nice. So we got some power cards here. My opponent definitely needs the summoning. Oh no, he went for the power card, so that's okay. I'm not going to reroll because I do want to draw the card. Yeah, Perso IO, I'm going to keep. And essentially, whenever I transmute now, this will give me 1 additional victory point for every energy that I transmute, which is a great bonus. So I'm going to keep that there, and I'll end my turn. Now, this is what I like to call the danger zone. There are cards known as the temporal time boots or the temporal boots. And essentially, when you play those cards that allow you to manipulate time by going forward or backward as up to 3 spaces. So your opponent can really close the game on you really fast if you're not prepared for it. And yeah, it can sometimes be a pain. There we go. We see the first temporal boots being played. He has the option of going forward or backwards. My opponent chose to go backwards, which means he's trying to expand the game longer just so they have enough time to play the rest of the cards in their hand, which is totally understandable. And on top of that, they have the option to continuously make me lose 4 victory points per turn. So that helps close the gap in the victory point department there. They played an amulet of water, and then they immediately transmuted it. That gives them a huge boost. That gives them 18 crystals there. So I'm going to reroll my die. Hey, got a power card. I can take the other Grimoire, but I'm going to choose not to. End my turn. All right. I'm going to choose to take a fire element here. And not the best here. I'm going to choose to go for the transmutation. I'm going to end up re-rolling it anyway, but hey, I'll get some victory points for it. See where my opponent chooses. All right, let's re-roll this die. And all right, so it maxed me out on victory on energy tokens. I got 3 victory points for that, and then 2 also for my die malice, and that's it. I'll end my turn. My opponent still has 2 cards in their hand. I wonder what the second one or the 2 are. My opponent's still not playing his last 2 cards, so I'm just curious to see what they have. So yeah, let's see. Hopefully they'll play something. My opponent going for Karn the Destroyer. Still making me lose victory points, but that's okay. I will reroll my die. Cool. So I got 2 resources to discard. I'm going to get rid of 2 fire tokens, which is okay. And I will end my turn. And I will choose to gain an extra water token. Okay. Let's reroll this die. Okay. So this is the time where I really wish I had a way to reliably transmute. But unfortunately I don't. So I'm just kind of wasting these energy tokens. Kind of sucks, but you know, it is what it is. My opponent playing Potion of Dreams, which allows them to play any card from their hand for free. They just discard all of their energy tokens for that. So it makes me wonder if they have a cube that they're going to end up playing. So we'll see. All right, so I got a card here, power card. So we'll see what that ends up meaning for me. My opponent literally has this last turn to play a card. We'll see what they do. They're definitely going to make me lose 4 victory points and then transmute 3 of these into victory points. Well, yep, there you go. Discards 1 for that. They transmute for 3, and then they use their potion to bring up this 30-point runic cube of Aeolus, which is huge because normally if you play it, you have to sacrifice 20 points to get this 30 points one. But when you use that potion, you play for free and you get around that 20-point requirement, which is really good move for my opponent. So I'm not going to re-roll this card. I'm going to draw a power card, and yes, I get Silas the Faithful. I am going to, I am going to play this card. I'm going to keep it. I'm going to use one of my bonuses here. Now, these are always available. I just have to take a penalty for every time I use it. So I'm going to take a penalty here to change 2 of my resources in my hand to what I want. And I need 1 fire, and I'm going to take 1 water for this one. So now I have the 2 fire that I need to play Silas the Faithful. Normally costs 3, but because of my hand of fortune, I only pay 2. This is a 17-point card, or sorry, a 14-point card, but it forces my opponent to get rid of one of the cards in his tableau. So we'll see what he gets rid of. He's probably going to get rid of the amulet or water, I would assume, but that's 6 less points for my opponent to score. Let's see what my opponent does. They're probably considering what to get rid of, which honestly, I mean, you're either going to get rid of one of your forgotten vases or the amulet of water at this point because you're not going to have another turn for sure. So, oh no, maybe my opponent ended up disconnecting by mistake. We'll see. So, but what I'll do next after this is after they sacrifice a card, the other option that I can take here is choosing my bonus, another bonus to allow me to transmute this turn. It is going to give me a total of negative 12 points for this game, but I have 1, 2, three, four, five, six, seven, eight water tokens, which they are each worth 3 victory points, which will give me 24 victory points, and then I'll get another 8 for my Purse of IO for those. So I'll be 32 victory points. And then I can also transmute this water, which will give me another 3. So I'll be 35 additional victory points just for taking that one action. So it's definitely worth me taking the negative just so I can get all those extra victory points. Just hoping my opponent reacts. This kind of happens sometimes from time to time when you're playing on board game arenas, yeah, especially if you're playing somebody from overseas. Sometimes they do end up getting disconnected, and the game kind of ends in an unsatisfying manner sometimes. But what else can you do? Unfortunately, it's the nature of playing online games. Um, I would definitely love to see how they end up, like what the final score would be for them. I can kind of peek on that because they have currently on their card points they have 105 points and 98 victory tokens. So you normally add the two. If I were to add these two together, that would give them 213 points. Now they would lose 6 points at best because of one of their cards. So that would put them at 207 points. And then they have a -5 modifier, putting them at 201. For me, currently, I have 98 card points, and then 82 points for my current tokens that I have. I haven't added on the additional 35 that I'm going to get from my following bonus, but that would put me at 180 80 points, and then -12 for my bonuses here. So that will put me at 168, and then I would get 35 points, which will put me at 203. So I looks like I'll be winning by just 3 points after doing all the math here in my head. So this is actually a very, very close game here. So hopefully my opponent can come and finish it. If not, it's going to end up being an automatic loss for them. They're already past their time right now. At negative a minute and 20 seconds so far. I am going to give them, I usually give my opponents like an additional 5 minute buffer. Sometimes you get disconnected and you're rushing to try to get back and try to finish off your game and stuff. I totally understand that. But I also don't want to sit on a waiting screen for this entire stream. So but yeah, so in the meantime, so far, this is how Seasons is played. And again, as you play with more expansions, you have a lot more cards that come into play here. There's a lot of great combos out there. Definitely give this game a try. I will definitely be playing this game on stream again in the future. But it is a really, really fun game. And I've learned to really form a strategy with a lot of the base cards. Archmage is probably my favorite level just because it includes all of the cards in the base set. I haven't played Enchanted Kingdom too much or Path of Destiny, but those are great expansions as well, from what I've been told. But yeah, definitely, absolutely try this game out. I own this physical copy of this game as well. It's really, really fun. Highly suggest this game, and it's definitely worth a try out. I might as well give my ending credits now because I will end the stream at the end of this game here. My opponent getting close to that 5 minute mark. But if you like what you've seen so far, definitely like and subscribe to the channel. Keep put on that bell for alerts. I tend to repost these to my YouTube channel, so that way, in case you missed the stream or you missed any explanation or anything that I posted so far, you can catch that on demand on my YouTube channel on Psych J7, and definitely keep a lookout for more future streams. I am still playing Armor Core 6. I will be doing more streams for Armor Core 6 as I'm trying to finish off that game. I actually was playing that last night, just trying to catch up on a bunch of the replays of the main mission and trying to get a lot of the battle logs, which one particular mission was incredibly difficult, which I didn't realize I missed like 7 battle logs in one mission. But I'm trying to finish off that game just in preparation for Final Fantasy Tactics, which is coming out in 3 weeks. I cannot wait for that game. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. But anyway, my opponent still has one more minute here, so we'll wait here. But anyway, like I was saying before, if you like what you see, definitely like and subscribe, hit that bell for alerts. If you have any type of board game in particular that you're wanting to see played on my channel, definitely send a comment in the description. Or you can send me a message on Discord, or comments on anywhere. Basically, you can find me. You can find me on Discord. You can find me on Facebook. Find me on YouTube, and just let me know if you'd like to see a particular game played, and I'll be happy to put that on stream there. And I will like to catch you guys on the next stream here. We got about 30 seconds until my opponent hits that 5 minute mark here, and then we'll end up ending the stream here. But I hope that you guys enjoy this game, and hope to see you guys on future streams for sure. All right, here we go. 10-second countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, guys. With this, unfortunately, my opponent definitely went well over their time, so we'll end up skipping their turn, which ends up becoming a loss for my opponent, unfortunately. Um, and yeah, unfortunately. So yeah, we'll give them some additional time there. But yep, definitely check out Board Game Arena. And there's definitely a lot of games that you can play on this site for free. They have a huge library of different games on there. So I highly suggest if you haven't checked it out, definitely check out the game, the website, and I'll kind of give you a brief look at it again for all the different games here. I mean, you got Lords of Zidit, Agricola, Seasons, Mini Road, Russian Railroads, Azul, Catan, Terraforming Mars, Ark Nova, Gosu. I mean, so many games on here. So definitely check it out if you ever have the chance on there. But anyway, thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight, and I will catch you all on the next stream.